Okay, this is your boy, Bro-think-twiceTv. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm getting back inside the Oblock Dangerous Minds, Part 2. Let's get it.
TL. Now, the way K.I.'s murder went down, guys, she actually died on Boss Krell's birthday. She was revenge for J Money. Okay, Lil B had shot J Money several times and killed him. Then on Boss Krell's birthday, K.I. actually tweeted Wooski that she was on the block, and Oblock saw the tweet. Now, the way that they knew that Big A was the one who had killed K.I. was because FEG Butter was actually there at the same time. Big A came up and killed K.I. In the same situation, like not right at the same spot, but like in the same, kind of like in the same incident. FEG Butter also got shot in his leg. He was nearby K.I. when she got shot, but he didn't have a gun on him. The cops were not too far as well, but they couldn't get there fast enough. Okay, now, after that happened, Butter told people that he had seen Big A's face. Then 2 days later, STL rolled up to Oblock while they were walking across the street to get something to eat, and they shot at them, but didn't kill anybody at that point. Okay, now, like I said, FEG Butter had gotten shot in his leg, and you know, they really wanted to turn up for K.I. big time after that. She was revenge for J Money. Now, another guy from Oblock who was a
Yeah, y'all kids out there, hey, listen, this shit y'all better try to learn from and get something out of this besides trying to follow this. You're trying to follow this shit, you're going to follow yourself either dead or in jail. Let's get back into it.
Shooter was that guy Cheno, who just recently got killed over the summer when he was in the territory of like MOE, No Love City over there. And it's controversial as to who killed him because, you know, like I said in that last video, I had heard that somebody had called STL to come do the hit on Cheno when he was over there in their territory. Now, Cheno had shot a guy named FEG Young in his back over on STL's territory. And Cheno is now dead.
Yeah, I hear that. Young got shot before Cash Brother, the one that just died. He got shot before and shit. That's what they talking about. Let's get back into it.
But, you know, it was kind of disputed as to who had shot him in his back. That was reportedly Oblock's channel that had done that. People are going to ask, well, why did STL and Oblock and them kind of get into it? It was because, you know, why did K.I. target OE and all of them? Like I said, TYMB, some guys from TYMB and Oblock had been rocking together back, I mean, we're talking like 5-6 years ago now, okay? And TYMB had been made by C-Ball from STL. So again, when Oblock started kind of hanging out with TYMB back then, STL saw them as a threat, and it was like, I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but K.I., you know, she just came through and caught that body and killed Odie. Now, I know the big question that a lot of you guys have, you know, your favorite Oblock member, Chief Keef Sosa, you're going to ask, was Chief Keef a shooter or a killer, or what was he? Chief Keef has no bodies, okay? None. As far as being a shooter, he doesn't even have a reputation of being a shooter. However, he is a guy who has a reputation of having some type of, well, for a few incidents, some type of guts, because as you guys know, he was locked up for allegedly, well, not allegedly, because he was actually, you know, locked up for it, but, and he never denied it either. He was locked up for pointing a gun at the CPD, all right? And as you guys know,
all right, that's Chief Keef. Yeah, and that's what he's talking about, you know. Love Sosa said he pointed the gun at the police. That's some shit he lucky he get it away with his life with. That ain't nothing you really gonna earn no stripes on. Pointing the gun at the police. Hey, youngest, listen, don't point no gun at no police thinking they ain't gonna shoot back at you.
From what happened to Little B from STL, that's not a very safe thing to do. Now, you know, like I've told you guys in a bunch of my videos, people always say, you know, every time, you know, one of these police shooting videos comes out, they say, you know, a white guy could empty a clip into a cop's wife, and the white guy wouldn't get shot, whereas a black guy so much as pops a, you know, piece of bubble gum in his mouth and he's going to get blasted. Well, it's just like with gang members. Just like every gang member is different. You got some gang members who are savage, and you got some gang members who are just about money. You got some cops who are savage, and some cops that just want to get their paycheck and go home. And Chief Keef had the good fortune of pointing a gun at some of those cops who just wanted their paycheck and to go home. Okay, he did not point a gun at some savage cops. There are definitely some cops who Chief Keef, if he had pointed that gun at them, we would not have a lot of the songs that we have today, because he would have been dead right there on the spot. However, you know, Chief Keef got lucky. All right, he upped the gun at the cops and didn't get shot. But you know, there was also a rumor that he'd even gotten into a shootout with them. I don't think that it was confirmed that he actually had let off shots at the cops, although that does happen all the time too in Chicago. But you know, actually Wooski from STL had done that, and Wooski's still alive. But Chief Keef, I don't think ever busted at the CPD. He's not a shooter, he's not a killer, he's just a trapper, okay? And now, him and his cousin Blood Money, same thing. Blood Money doesn't have any bodies either, that I know of. He was just into the trapping stuff too, just like Chief Keef. Now, Blood Money was from Front Street. I'm going to talk more about him in my video on Front Street. Fredo, you know, I'm going to just talk about him real quick because I know you guys are itching to know about Fredo, because he's also, you know, Chief Keef's cousin. Even though he's from Front Street. Fredo Santana has no bodies, you guys. None. Okay, he didn't kill JoJo. He doesn't have any no hits. Okay, and this is something that you guys, you know, when I said that on my video about Fredo that I have since taken down, people were saying, oh, well, Fredo's just one of those kinds of guys who keeps his mouth shut. You guys, that's not the way it works in Chicago, man. If you catch a body, it's going to get out. Somebody's going to know about it. It doesn't matter if you keep your mouth shut or not, because, you know, people know what happens. Like, the streets talk. You know, even if you don't talk, the streets talk. There's no such thing as staying anonymous about a body in Chicago. If Fredo had ever caught a body, because it's not like you can somehow keep a secret that guy is now gone. Okay? If a guy disappears from another gang and, you know, doesn't show up to school or, you know, come back to his mama's house one day, people are going to start to ask questions. And people are going to know, okay.
Hey, and don't y'all trying to kind of realize, like, how did this dude get all this information and shit? How you think through music, social media, and all that shit? I take this and learn from it. Let's get back in it.
You wrote on this guy and why you did it and all that kind of stuff, just based off of the fact that what the situation is on the block, okay? You know, he was over here rolling through his hood. He was here, you know, standing outside on the block. You know, who else caught him? People are going to know. People are going to talk. He would have somehow gotten out. Fredo has no bodies, none. He's not a shooter. He's not a killer. He didn't have a reputation for any of that. The guy who Chief Keef and Fredo kind of had doing their dirty work for them, like the big hitter in their circle who was doing the stuff for Chief Keef and Fredo and Blood Money, was a guy from Front Street named Dada. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this guy more in my video on Front Street. He was the killer, like in their circle, who was doing the dirty work. Who you know, Keef and Fredo kind of had as their trigger man. Dada from Front Street, not Keef, not Fredo. So, you know, a lot of people talk about in these videos, you know, they've been gassed up by a lot of social media and by a lot of YouTube, honestly. And, you know, honestly, just by the way Fredo looks, you know, it's one of those things where people judge a book by its cover and they judge by appearances. Fredo has always been a guy who's just strictly about the money. I'm not saying none of this to diss Fredo. You guys know me. Being a killer, in my view, is something that's bad. It's something you don't want. That's something you should be ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? Fredo, he's one of the guys who's always just been about getting...
Okay. It's your boy, Bro-think-twiceTv. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments. And let me know what you got out of this video. And I'll see y'all on the next one.